we're getting an $8,000 facial treatment, and it uses an ingredient which will blow your mind. I'm doing it for you guys. If it was up to me, I'd be too scared. But we're doing it for content. We're at Onlif Clinic in Gangnam, and it's one of the hottest areas for facial and body services in Seoul, Korea. Onlif actually means only lifting, and so their services are focused on anti-aging and lifting treatments, offering a wide range of both non-invasive and invasive procedures that you'll see over 3 different floors. It all starts with a consultation, and this is where I met one of the chief doctors, Dr. Lee Jae-eun, where he asked me to share some of my main skin concerns. Acne, scar, dehydration. That's the main one. Present fell here, chiming in just to give you some additional details of this experience. So I remember in this consultation, he was actually a little surprised that I hadn't gotten any facial services done. And I think this just shows how common these services are in Korea and that everyone does them. So he was like, who is this person? No. Never.
하신 적이 없으니까.
She's afraid of needles.
Yeah, I'm afraid.
주사가 무서우시네요.
큰일 났네. 오늘 어떻게 하지 그러면?
That's a shame. How are we going to do today?
I know. So by observing your face, he essentially tailors what type of treatments would be best suitable for you. He said, I don't have a hollow face, but I do have a more rounded, chubby face. So he said Ultherapy would really work well to help sculpt and slim the face. So in this consultation, it's important to tailor it to your needs. Then it didn't stop there. He suggested that we do a stem cell injection. Yes, you heard me right. This is the almost $8,000 treatment that I was talking about in the beginning. And honestly, it was quite anxiety inducing. But we're still not done, because on top of that, he also suggested microneedling for skin texture and collagen production. And these can all be done in the same treatment?
한꺼번에 다 할 수 있는
네,
거죠?
맞습니다.
Yes. Oh, that's a lot.
You just have to tolerate.
And at this point, my mind was honestly a little bit blown, because I've never heard of stacking skin treatments one after another in one session like that. But this is also where Korea, in terms of skin treatments, lives in 2050. Through each treatment, they're actually working on a different layer of your skin.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Then we'll go outside and then prepare for the procedure.
Okay. So as I said, Onlif actually has multiple levels, so I headed to the 4th floor where they get you to change out of your clothes and into cute patient wear. A vibe. I was honestly quite nervous and a little bit anxious.
Sleeping Beauty, how do we feel?
Like I can't sleep. Because I've never done anything like this. Like, I've never had anything more than just like a hydrating facial. So all of this is like completely new to me. So in this room, they begin applying some numbing cream all over your face, and then they apply some of this like cling wrap over it, and typically they let the cream sink in for about 40 minutes. This is my only saving grace to protect me from crying. And you?
What was the pain level on a scale of 1 to 10?
17.
Oh my.
Numb me to life, wake me up inside. A few anxious thoughts later, into the operation room. The doctor came in and he started to map out the areas on my face that he would be treating and concentrating on, but also telling me which parts he would be avoiding to give a balanced look. Starting with the first of 3 treatments, this first one is called Ultherapy. So this has become one of the most popular non-surgical treatments for those who are looking for a V-line face shape, lifted jawline and cheeks, and just overall firmer skin. It uses high-frequency focused ultrasound, also known as HIFU, to target the deep layers of your face in that muscular level to be able to give those lifting and tightening effects. I can be pretty confident in telling you most Korean celebrities and influencers will have had Ultherapy done. So in this session, the doctor will use 3 different nodes to directly target the deep muscular tissue layers, also known as the SMAS, as well as the deep dermis and the superficial dermis. And these are the layers where our precious collagen and elastin are created. And fun fact, this is the same layer or portion of our skin that actually gets worked on when you get a surgical facelift. So this is why Ultherapy is also known as the non-invasive version of a facelift. He's starting with the 3mm mode, and this just means the ultrasound is reaching 3mm beneath the skin surface into the dermis layer. So he's essentially pinpointing the region to lift, sculpt, and regenerate the collagen. You can see here the doctor's constantly looking at this screen because he's simultaneously checking your facial contours and structure as he's pulsing the energy waves into my face so that it's targeting very specific areas that were customized for your concern. I honestly couldn't feel too much on this node. It was just a little bit of heat and like warm flashes in some areas of my cheeks, but nothing painful, surprisingly, because some videos that I've watched and just like talking to some other girls, they said Ultherapy is kind of like, it's really sore in some areas because it goes into that jaw and gum area. So it really will come down to each person. He then changes the node to use the 4.5mm, which goes into the skin layer called the SMAS, which is made up of muscle fibers, fat cells, collagen, and elastin. And this is the layer of the face that's prone to thinning and sagging and getting weaker as we age in that muscle level. I didn't know it at the time, but Ultherapy is one of those treatments that you only need to do once a year. And you'll start seeing peak results anywhere between 2 to 6 months. That's when you'll see the most chisel and when the collagen has had time to reproduce. I'll show you what I currently look like, which is about 2 months after this procedure. So stay tuned to the end of the video and I'm gonna give you all my thoughts. I don't know why I'm crying. Let's get it together. So before I could even mentally process the Ultherapy, we were on to the next treatment, and that is stem cell injections. This is one of the ones I was most anxious about, and I've just never in a million years thought I would experience this, but here we are. And stem cell injections are one of the treatments that Korea is in the front lines of and what high-end clinics are offering for innovative facial treatments. And it's one of the most expensive treatments that you can get. So I just want to say everything that I'm getting done is a gifted experience. It wasn't anything that I like sought out. It was just as we were in Korea, the Nuri Lounge team really helped to like hook us up, Cassandra and I, with the most innovative body, skin, hair treatments. And so this is just me almost like living through it. But back to what are stem cells? Stem cells are used for skin regeneration and repair for things like inflammation, scar healing, pigmentation reduction, and collagen boosting so that it can help with creating a smoother, firmer, and overall improved texture and tone of your face. My mental space right now was almost like meditative because I needed to just keep it cool. Because as you might know, I am petrified of needles.
She's afraid of needles.
Yeah, I'm afraid of
주사가 무서우시네요.
But the thing is, it's not like painful, it doesn't hurt, but you can feel every injection. The good thing is because they're all really professional, he's systematically working across your face and doing it very swiftly and smoothly. And so on a discomfort level, I would rate this probably around a 7.5 or an 8. So that took roughly like 3 minutes. It was over really quickly and we were on to the next treatment, which was microneedling. This is performed to the outermost surface of the skin, and it works by creating these micropunctures so that your skin rebuilds and regenerates, and in the process stimulates new collagen and elastin to be produced. It's most commonly used for people who want to improve their acne scars, fine lines, enlarged pores, and uneven skin tone and texture. So a lot of these services will kind of overlap in terms of what they can offer your skin. And what it is they're just rolling this microneedling tool, and they're also applying something called the On Blossom Skin Booster, which is Onlif's special serum concoction, and it contains hyaluronic acid as well as peptides to enhance your skin's hydration and the collagen production to give you that radiant complexion. This was also pretty quick. It only lasted about like 3 to 5 minutes. On a discomfort level, this was probably like 5 or 6. And I honestly think because I was still trying to get over like the speed at which these were going, like my adrenaline was high, and so maybe that like blocked my pain receptors for everything. I am not sure, but I think that definitely had to do with it. So after that, the worst was over and I went into the recovery room to rest a little bit. Very important to eat. Okay, so that completed the facial treatments. Now I need to sit down with you guys and decompress and share with you the results as well as my main takeaways and reflections, and I'll answer FAQs. Okay, let's first start with the results. So the day of the treatment, wowza, I had visible injection marks, but the funny thing was it was more visible on one side versus the other. I don't know, it was kind of weird. Surprisingly, this side of my face looks fine. This side of my face does not look fine. Some of the blood would have dried up, which left a little scab. And then overall, I looked very puffy, like I was bloated and kind of swollen. In terms of like feeling, my face was definitely very tender, and when I washed my face that night, I could feel the raised bumps. I do want to say that because I went with Cassandra, when she was doing the injections, her face looked beat. It was like she walked into a beehive. She has much more sensitive skin than I do. I realized that's just something to note if you have super thin skin, if you have fair skin, if you have very sensitive reactive skin.
Okay, this is the morning after. That is a pimple. The rest of it has like gone down, so the bumps aren't as much, and it's just like a little tender, but it doesn't hurt. So I guess I will be going out like I have freckles all over my face.
Just like little scabs. It definitely wasn't oozing anything. It was actually just like healing. So there was, I realized, some bruising on a few of the marks, maybe just like 2. I was still looking quite puffy. The raised bumps had gone down, and it was good enough where I could wear just minimal BB cream or concealer, because once again, I was filming the next day. A week after the treatments, my swelling and puffiness had gone down probably 90%. Like my face was looking back to normal. And then within the week, there were still some slight marks, but you couldn't really tell unless you looked closely. Just like slather your skin with hydration and a really good moisturizer. I was using the Pure Am toner, the Dr. Rosa Seeker, and the Pure Am Barrier Balm, Authentic Barrier Balm, for the whole duration until my skin was healing again. So I'm currently in my almost 2nd month after these treatments. My skin peaked at around the 3rd week after getting it. It was healed and my skin looked good. My pores were the biggest shock. My skin was so smooth and so refined, and the pores were so minimized. I haven't seen my skin tightened like that. Like over this area, the butterfly area and my forehead, but not even that, but my acne scars, like the ice pick scars, the deep ones that no amount of skincare can really change. Even those had actually evened out. It almost like tightened. Even without me putting on anything, my skin was actually like very bright, evened, and pore minimized. About a month into it, I think this is where the Ultherapy was kicking in, where he concentrated those ultrasound shots. This whole region of my face seems to be smaller. It just looks more sculpted. That's what I think. And it's sculpted just in the area that he focused on. Now, I will also say that I have been stepping up my skincare as well. Like I've been doing less, but the steps that I do, it's like really paying off, like double moisturizing at night. Anyway, I'm gonna share more skin tips in another video that we have with another clinic, because I actually got a lot more tips in terms of how to look after your skin and our routine there. So that's my general results. Now, it wouldn't be beauty within if I didn't share my real thoughts. Everything has pros and cons, and so we really need to talk about that, and I think it's just as important as everything that I've shared with you, and something honestly I don't think a lot of people talk about. There were things that I experienced that really did make me feel uncomfortable. Once again, this was a gifted experience, which I'm so thankful for. First thing is, I was shocked at how normalized these treatments were.
Literally right outside the door, I see Regerand. Do you know what that is?
No.
It's the salmon sperm injection thing.
We were in Gangnam, which is like the hotspot. It's like a one-stop shop. You want hair, you want teeth, you want face, you want body, like everything is here, no matter how young you are, how old you are, where you're from. And I think it was actually quite intense, because you might gauge that Ro and I are very conservative when it comes to things about beauty treatments, changing yourself. Like, we take it very seriously because, you know, you have one face, one body your whole life. So that's our approach. So then that leads me to the second unexpected thing. Was, results aside, I actually felt this sadness. Everyone I talked to around, they'd already had a rhinoplasty. They do PDRN like 2 times every 3 months, when it's suggested you only need it once every 6 months because the results are just so good that they keep going. Everyone normalizes it, and it kind of creates this warped reality for me. For example, I was talking with the translator, and she was already on her 3rd eyelid surgery, and she still wasn't satisfied with it. But you know, at that point she had to stop, because it's like you can only change your eye so many times, and so it might not be safe. That was kind of like the more eye-opening inner beauty that I really saw clearly was missing within this whole process, because it is purely aesthetic. Then the next thing that surprised me was they start these treatments on Korean girls so early, in their 20s. You can just go in, there's like binders, and you can pick the lips you want, you can pick the eyes you want, you can pick whatever shape face you want. That was also another thing that really like startled me, as to having all of these options thrown at you, being so available if you're 20 and you still haven't really like fully matured and come to terms with yourself, I think is actually more on the dark side of beauty. And so you almost experience this kind of like facial dysmorphia, where it starts out a little bit, and then you're used to the new norm, and that's now your new standard. It's given you that gratification that it does work, and you do a little bit more, you test a little bit, and it just starts this whole cycle. And then all of a sudden, without even realizing it, your normal, you know, your natural beauty has become not enough. Like, subconsciously, it's become not enough. That's why this whole experience, I was very divided, and I was almost experiencing it as like an out-of-body experience. And then, would I do it again? And was it worth it? I have to answer it in 2 ways. So me as Felicia, as you know, my humble person, I'm not itching to do this again. I probably am not going to think of doing it again. But if you're asking me, does it produce results? Yes, it does. They both exist. Why I'm talking about this and I'm so passionate about this section is because, you know, I treat all of you viewers and everyone in my life as my sisters. Like, I wouldn't suggest to you things that I wouldn't give my own blood, you know what I mean? Or my own self. And I don't know why I'm crying. What the heck? Get it together. And it's because I think I see it in both ways. It's very natural to want to be beautiful and aspire to these things, but I also like see everyone as already beautiful, and sometimes it takes us our own time to, you know, work through believing that in ourselves. And like, I wouldn't want people like you guys who are like on the fence or who are interested to get into more of this like a negative cycle of feeling like these are the things you need to do in order to be accepted and to be beautiful, because you know that's not what real beauty is, right? Beauty is your character. And I think like the whole process of like, you know, seeing all these really great people over there, but them just being so dissatisfied, and how like pretty privileged culture is such a huge thing in Korea, that hit me really hard. So yes, I think these treatments, the results they give you can be great, but that's not the be all end all. Like if you want to get it once in a while, try it out, like your prerogative. So yes, I don't know what my point was, but that was that. Okay, it's not the end. In our next video, as you might notice, I look a bit different. No, I didn't get plastic surgery. However, I did do something called dental lamination. And I want to share with you guys the whole experience, because it is definitely something that only Korea has. And it was quite an experience as well. After that, we have body treatment. If you listened and heard our K-pop idol podcast, Ro and I was talking about fat blasting injections. I need to talk about this because it is widespread, but I also got some lymphatic drainage for sculpting the body, for toning it, and all you have to do is sit there. And then coming up after that, we also have hair and scalp treatment. I continue my journey of hair loss, hair thinning. I get the opinion of an hair loss expert, and then we have a color analysis, so much more. And then we go on to Japan. So subscribe if you enjoy content like this. I hope that gives you a little bit more of a well-rounded observation. I would love to know if you have your own experiences. Share your thoughts below. Love you guys, and I'll see you really soon. Bye for now.